All right, today we are diving into one of the most incredible security systems in the entire human body, the blood-retinal barrier. Now, chances are you've probably never heard of it, but trust me, without this silent guardian, your vision just wouldn't be possible.
Just think about your retina for a second. It's this incredibly delicate light-sensing tissue that lets you see the world. It's like a VIP lounge, you know? It has to be perfect with absolutely no disruptions. So you have to wonder, how does the body make sure only the good stuff gets in and all the bad stuff stays out? Well, the answer lies with a super powerful, highly selective guardian.
And that guardian is the blood-retinal barrier, or BRB. Its whole job is to be the ultimate gatekeeper. It maintains this perfectly stable environment, what scientists call homeostasis, that our retina needs to function. It lets in all the crucial nutrients while slamming the door on any unwanted guests from the bloodstream.
But listen, this isn't just some simple wall. Oh no, the BRB is a really sophisticated two-layered fortress. So let's go ahead and unpack both the inner and the outer walls of this incredible defense system.
That's right, not one, but two distinct barriers, and they work together to provide this amazing, comprehensive protection. So let's meet them.
Okay, so let's meet the security team. On one side, you've got the inner BRB. You can think of this as the walls of the blood vessels that are actually inside the retina. Then on the other side, you have the outer BRB. This is a layer of super specialized cells called the retinal pigment epithelium, or RPE, and it separates the retina from the blood supply behind it.
So how does this inner BRB actually work? Well, the capillaries in there are non-fenestrated, which is just a fancy way of saying they don't have any pores or holes. They're totally sealed. The cells are locked together by something called zonula occludens, which are basically ultra-strong tight junctions. I mean, this seal is so effective that it stops pretty much everything, even tiny little ions like sodium, from just leaking out of the blood into the retina. It's an amazing frontline defense.
Now, the outer BRB, it's facing a totally different challenge. The blood supply it's guarding, the choriocapillaris, is actually fenestrated, meaning it's supposed to be leaky, and that's on purpose. It has to get a massive amount of oxygen to the photoreceptors, which, by the way, have the highest metabolic rate in the entire body. But because it's so leaky, those RPE cells have to form an incredibly tight, sealed wall to make up for it. And they aren't just a wall, they also act like a selective supplier, actively grabbing the specific nutrients the retina needs and pulling them through.
And that's the key thing to remember here. The BRB isn't just some passive wall sitting there. No, it's a dynamic, active system that has several really critical jobs that are absolutely essential for our vision.
So what's on its job description? Well, first, it maintains that perfect internal balance. It also protects the super-sensitive neural tissue from anything harmful floating around in the blood. And this is huge. It keeps the immune system at a distance to prevent any unnecessary inflammation. And finally, it actively helps with the visual cycle by transporting key ingredients, like vitamin A.
And here's a perfect example of how that transport function works. Essential supplies, like vitamin A and glucose, they arrive in those leaky blood vessels behind the retina. The RPE cells in the outer BRB then act like a really discerning concierge, you know? They select only these specific molecules, pull them across the barrier, and then deliver them directly to the photoreceptors that are desperate for them. And on top of all that, the barrier is also a factory. Its RPE cells produce these critical growth factors that help keep the blood vessels healthy and can even help with retinal repair if something gets damaged. It's a protector, a transporter, and a maintenance crew all rolled into one.
And it doesn't even work alone. The barrier has a supporting cast. These cells called Mueller cells. They act as communication hubs, relaying signals between the neurons and the blood vessels. This whole process makes sure the barrier gets the resources it needs so it can adapt and stay strong and functional.
But what happens when this incredible system fails? A breach in the blood-retinal barrier, well, it has absolutely catastrophic consequences for our vision. Okay, so look at this. A breakdown of the inner barrier is a key part of diseases like diabetic retinopathy, where blood actually leaks right into the retina. Now, when the outer barrier starts to fail, that's central to age-related macular degeneration, or AMD, which causes fluid to build up underneath the retina. Even big-picture problems like high blood pressure can cause just devastating damage to the system. So let's take diabetic retinopathy for a second. High blood sugar basically damages those tightly sealed capillaries of the inner BRB, making them weak. And eventually, they just start to break down and leak. It is a devastating security breach for that delicate retinal tissue. Now, in age-related macular degeneration, the problem starts at the outer barrier.
Waste products start to build up and the membrane that the RPE cells sit on gets thick. It's kind of like the plumbing gets clogged. This chokes off the nutrient supply line and weakens the seal, which allows fluid to leak through and ultimately damage your vision.
So the takeaway here is crystal clear. The integrity of the blood-retinal barrier isn't just important, it is absolutely essential. The moment its security is compromised, the entire structure and function of the retina can just collapse.
The BRB truly is the unsung hero of our vision. It's working silently, constantly to protect one of our most precious senses. And all of this brings us to a final, really crucial question. Knowing just how vital this thing is, what can we do to better protect this incredible guardian?